So, my name's Larry Kilgore. I've been coming to the CAAS since 1988 or so. I saw Micah Yandell earlier this week when I arrived, and he said he has a health problem. And since I'm one of his doctors, not really. Wrong gender for me. I'm a surgeon over in Knoxville at the University of Tennessee, and a longtime friend of Micah and Marie and Paul and Cherie. So he said, since he may not make it back from the doctor today, he asked if I would step in, and I'll be happy to prompt these guys to play you some good tunes. But the purpose of this is to talk a little bit about Paul Yandell, Chet's sideman for many, many years. And I'm sure each of you have your own story about Paul. Like most of you, I heard Paul before I ever saw him, and I saw him before I ever met him. And then it was a while after that that I became his friend. You know Paul, when he lived a quiet guy, and you didn't always know what you're going to get with Paul when you walked up to Paul and talked to Paul, but he was always very kind to me, and I've got a couple of stories to tell in between these tunes, but we got some Eddies, and you guys all introduce yourself. Let's start here. Who's picking today?
Eddie is from Orange, Virginia. Eddie Pennington, Audie White. I used to see Paul on TV, and I would see him with Chet, and I was like, well, man, if Chet's got this guy playing guitar for him, he must be some kind of awesome. And started coming down here, and I was too shy to ever say anything to Paul because I was like kind of awestruck with all the people he had played for and with. And so somehow along the line we got to be friends. I don't really know exactly when it happened, but it just kind of happened. So Micah and Marie and Sherry and Paul, they became kind of like an extended family then. I love them a lot. They're some people that I really look forward to seeing every year, along with everybody else, but they're special. And so in 2012, I think it was, I got, my oldest daughter was at the house, and she said, Dad, you got an email from the Country Music Hall of Fame? And I'm like, well, yeah, really? And she said, yeah. And she said, I said, what does it say? And she said, well, they wanted you and Philip to come play at the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I'm like, yeah, sure they do. I said, and NASA wants me to come fly the space shuttle too. But Paul had said, he said, I'm going to get Gretchen to get you to come down there and play at the Hall of Fame. And I said, he said if I can work it out. And when I got that email, I knew that Paul had worked it out. And I no more would have ever thought about ever playing at the Country Music Hall of Fame than I would have thought about playing for the NFL. It's just, so that was something that, Paul did for me and Philip, and I'll never forget that, and I'm sure he's done so much good stuff for a lot of people, So I'm going to stop rambling and I'll let somebody else have the microphone.
Well, I'm from Western Kentucky, pretty close to where Paul was from, and I heard about him all my life. I met Odell Martin back when I was pretty young, and all, which everybody talked about Paul Yandell. At that time, they was calling him Yandell, and Chet would say Yandell, but up home they're Yandells, and So I asked him one time, I said, how do you say? Well, it's Yandell. He said, but they call me Yandell. He would, and I'd imitate him some. I don't know how good a job I did, but it irritated me. I had a lot of fun with him. This guitar, when I first got it, it had a wood pickguard on. I said, well, that don't show up right now. He said, take that down for a little bit. And I said, well, I'd like to have I had a master volume put on it, but they wired it up wrong. Yeah. So anyhow, he wired it up. He said, well, I told you when it was he's having a bill that have a big block of wood put in there under that. So I'm gonna put some dowel posts in there, and he did that, and, you know, and then he had this pick guard and this armrest made for me and all, and just, you know, he looked out for me like a big brother looks out for a little brother that he likes. And I was, back about that time, I was starting traveling and playing and all. I was green, never had been anywhere where they had more than one stoplight in town. And so Paul was my traveling advisor, getting to the airport. Now, I'll tell you what, you pull up there, get one of them sky caps, take your stuff. I didn't know what a sky cap was. So he didn't explain all that stuff to me, but as I say, you know, I didn't have a big brother, I had a big sister, but I had a big brother with Paul Yandell, and I miss him every day, and I think about stuff about him all the time, and, you know, I'm so lucky that I got to know him. Of course, as I say, I was real close friends with Odell Martin, who was one of his best friends, and they were complete opposites. Now, Odell, I've seen 3 people had the type of personality like Odell did. Tom Emanuel, Parker Hastings, and Odell Martin. But they got the biggest personalities. You know, I don't know if you meet Tommy or something, you know, he knows you. You know, don't matter who you are or how good you pick or whatever. Tommy knows. Odell Martin was like that. And little Parker, he's got that, you know, that's the first thing I picked up on him. He's got that kind of a personality. Well, me and Paul, we were closer. You know, Paul, he wasn't shy. He was reserved. He reserved to say it when he, you know, when he felt like it needed to be said, and he would say it exactly like it's supposed to be said, and he didn't hold back on it. And I learned a whole lot from him that, you know, a man that is direct and honest with you, that's one of the best friends you ever have, because he's going to tell you how it really is. These guys that pat you on the back and say, oh, that's great, that's good. Paul would go, oh, you didn't do that right. I said, let me show you. And he would. And, you know, that's the type of guy Paul Yandell was. You know, you think he was, you know, he was so, he had a shell on the outside, like an egg does. You know, you'd think, oh, he's a tough old guy, I don't want to fool with him. When I first started being around him, I thought, boy, you know, I'm not going to bother him. But I found out, you know, it's just like that egg, you know, you got to have something to keep that egg in place. And he had to have a little bit of something, because that's one of the most tender-hearted and loving guys that I've ever seen. And so I'm tickled to say things about him, and I'll turn it over to all of you.
I know when I was like Eddie when I first started down here. When I first came, and I didn't start coming as early as Eddie, but of course Chet was still alive. And you know, Paul would just come wandering through through the halls, and I was starstruck with Paul, because as a kid I remember, and I'm in the Chet action, and I'm starting to try to figure all this out, and the first time I heard Paul's name was somebody talk about, you need to hear this guy that plays with the Lubin brothers, and you need to hear all this. Of course, by then Paul was going from playing with them, but the people tell me about it, as far as they were concerned, that Paul was still with them, and you need to listen. And I just assumed all those records of the Lubin brothers, which my dad and mom sang, was Chet on there. But years later, I got to follow them, of course, Chet and Jerry, and you know, you rush down to the record store and you save up your money from mowing some lawns, and you get the latest record out. And what was always cool was to get those albums out and put them on the turntable, on the big console stereo we had, and flip that over to the back. And RCA was good in those days about listing all the musicians on there. And Paul was always on there. And Paul was always on there playing rhythm guitar on Chet's stuff, on Jerry Reed's stuff. And so I'm down here, and here's Paul. And It took me a while. Paul and I had some mutual friends. I was lucky to get to know some folks because of my mom and dad recording in Nashville, and some musicians that were down here, and we had some common friendships because of that. But I never wanted to be one of those that I felt like I might be trying to monopolize Paul's time. But anytime I had a question that showed me some tune on some lick on a Chet tune that I couldn't figure out quite the right way to play, he would always sit down and take the time and show me. And he just, you know, we just got to be close, not as the two Eddies here have, but I just felt like I had a great friend there that I could ask anything of. It was special. And I've got a tune here I'll play here in a minute and tell you a little more about that. But,
Let's move over to some music. And Eddie, you got a tune for us? Why don't you start us out?
Micah and I were going to play Baby's Coming Home. I think if you look at that Chet Pixel and Jerry Reed album, Paul was on that album all through it. So I'm going to give it a shot. My hands are a little cold and I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me and I'll do the best I can.
Larry, in between a couple tunes, I got a short Paul Yandell story.
Okay, great. Eddie, you got a tune for us? Okay, I'll talk a little bit while you're warming up. Yeah, so I said my name's Larry Kilgore. For many years I was down in Birmingham when I worked at the University of Alabama, and once I got to know Paul and Mike, then they knew I had an interest in Merle, so it wasn't too long till I got lots of Merle stories from Paul, and the next thing I know he called me and said that if I was interested in a Music Man amp, you know. So I got a couple of those, and then it wasn't too long, he said, would you be interested in a Yandell amp like Merle had? So Tricia, we have a Yandell amp at the house. Lots of things that Paul did for me. He taught me numbers of little licks on the guitar that I cherish to this day. And it seems like I play the same tunes over and over again in my living room, but I always am able to make a Paul Yandell lick that he taught me, or some little technique that he gave me. I guess one of the honors when he and Chet came to play with the Birmingham Symphony many years ago, Paul would always call and make sure we had good seats or whatever. So I put my coat and tie on and went to the symphony. Told all my doctor buddies that they needed to come here with Chet. And so, you know, as Chet did most of the times he played with the symphony, he featured the men in the band, the boys in the band, and so he called Paul up to play a tune for the Birmingham Symphony, and so he dedicated it to me. So from then on at the hospital, you know, with thousands of people in there, you know, Paul called me out in front of at the Birmingham Symphony, so it was one of my claim to fame with Paul, being recognized for that. He played a great tune, so that's my little story about Paul. All right, Eddie, you got a tune for us?
It made me think of another story. Back, I think it was 1990 or somewhere along there, Garrison Keillor went out on a tour. And of course he wanted Chet, well Chet didn't want to do it. So he sent Paul. And Paul was gone about all summer with Garrison Keillor, and he had to miss CAAS that year. And so anyhow, he wrote a song, Thinking Tonight of My Heroes. And he told Micah, he said, you get Larry Kilgore to sing that, so don't let Eddie sing that. I said, Larry, I'll do a better job on that.
You picked it and I sang it, I guess that's what it was.
And you still know the words, I'll pick it if you can sing it.
I don't remember the way. I got them in one of my guitar cases though, I have, but it's at home, unfortunately, yeah. I didn't know I was going to be emceeing this, I would have brought it. What you going to pick for us?
Me? Is that loud enough in the back? I ain't going to mic it. Is that loud enough in the back? Y'all hear me?
You're good.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, let's see if I can play this. This is, maybe a year or so before Paul passed away. I wrote a song for you, I want you to play. And he said that I call it Merle's Dance. And man, it was hard for me to learn this thing. But he showed me, and then he made me a tape of it, and I worked at it. And first time I played it for him, he said, well, you adding that little thing in it? I said, didn't have it, but it sounds pretty good, you can leave it in there if you want to. That was his now. If it was something with Chet's, you didn't monkey and change it around. You know, he was very protective of Chet. See, I can think how this goes. This is my sinking point of the day. They don't have nap time down here. You know, I don't do anything anymore, just sit around on Facebook or watch TV. Here lately, I've got where to watch TV Land, something. Andy Griffith's on in the morning and Bonanza. Between that last Andy Griffith and Bonanza, that's nap time. I ain't had that today. So I'll see if I can play some of this. If y'all feel it's getting weak, jump in and play something.
That's good. That's a great team. Hey, let's set a special thanks for our sound guys. I don't know if they get thanks enough. Thank you. Dean has
Sure. So I got a little repair shop up in Portland, Tennessee, and I have a friend named Richard, had a Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat, and he got low on money one time, and he gutted the electronics out of it. He sold it to somebody, all the electronics. A couple of years later, he decided he wanted to put it back together, so he brought me all the electronics and a schematic. So I put it all back together like the schematic said, and I couldn't get it to work. And I called Sonny Thomas and explained what I did to him, and he said, well, I don't know any more about it than you do. I would have done the same thing you did. Why don't you call Paul in Yandell? And I didn't want to call it bothering, you know. And so he said, well, he won't be bothered. He's really good with that stuff. So I called Paul, and he was very nice. And I told him what I did, and he said, okay. And I kept referring to the schematics, and finally Paul said, just throw that schematic out and do this. Take this wire off of here and switch it over there, excuse me, and you should be okay. And so that's what I did. And it's right on. He was really good with electronic stuff. I guess he was always fooling around to pick up someone.
Yeah, he was a master at that. Yeah, that's.
The book about Paul just came out, and I didn't have any idea that this story that I had sent Norm would end up in the book. I mean, I've never had my name in the book before, so.
Can't believe that anymore.
Right. But anyway, years ago, I had my Kirk Sand guitar down here, and I put these strings on it. You know how some people will twist them around because they don't have a clipper with them. So I took it over to the table, and Paul said, I want to show this some blick to some guy that was standing there. And by that time, the strings had all kind of shooting off the place. And Paul says, I can't imitate him. He says, son, he said, you know, people do cut those things off.
All right, how about another tune?
Okay, well, here's a song that I'll try to get through here. I think it was the convention after Jerry died. You know, we'd lost Merle, we'd lost Chet, and then we'd lost Jerry. And like a lot of people, I always wanted to try to come up with some little song to pay tribute to all those guys. And I was trying to come up, I had something that I come up with, but it sort of sounded like a mishmash of stuff. And I was trying to put things in there like that big old Merle Travis chord there. And I played it, I got to talking to Paul about it. And Paul was gracious enough to give me just some really good ideas and inspiration to do something in the middle. It needed a middle part. And actually, by the time using his suggestions that I was done, it almost sounded like a real song. But I've always, Paul was so, you know, that was just the way Paul was. He was always ready to share with you, and that's something I always miss. There's just not too many people like that anymore. But anyway, so this song ended up, you know, to be a tribute to Chet and Merle and Jared. I think ended up being for me at least, more of a tribute to Paul than anything else. But you'll hear a mishmash of Jerry Reed's tunes that Chet played and different things. But when it gets to the second part, to the minor, that's the Paul part. So see if I can remember here.
Yeah, the book is just arrived right at the beginning of CAAS. Micah said that it's over at their table where you'll see Maria and Micah sitting when his health is a little bit better. Yeah, get a copy. I've got one, and one I'm going to send down to one of my friends who can't come to the convention anymore because of his health, and I want to send that his way. Another story for Paul, when Gibson started making the Country Gentlemen's, I saw Paul play up at Drakesboro, and he was playing, I think, through a Music Man. And I don't know, I was sitting out in front of the stage, and the sound was just overwhelmingly good. And so I said to Paul, I said, how do you get, I can't get that sound, how do you get that sound? And he says, every time I play, it sounds just like that. It's a good lesson. When he said, I'll go over to the factory and pick you out a Country Gentleman. So I wanted an orange one, you know. So he picked out the wood and had the guys whittle it out for me. And he set the intonation and posted it, he said. And got me a couple of Ray Butts pickups. And, you know, tried to help me out as much as he could to try and sound a little bit better. And, but it was so sweet of him to take that time to do that. Hey, Marie, come in. There you are. So now that he got me the guitar, I thought I knew a little bit more about guitars, right? So I was in the Kentucky booth, and there was a guitar in there for sale, but the case was open. So I looked at it 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 days, and so I grabbed it and gave the guy the money for it. And I walked right out there, and there stood Paul. He said, "What you got?" I said, "I just bought this Chet CE nylon string guitar in there. Somebody had it for sale." He said, "Let me see that thing." And so he held it and said, "Take that thing back in there and get your money back. Why didn't you ask me what kind of guitar you needed to get for it?" So I don't have that guitar. All right, let's have, we got about 4 minutes, right? Time for another story or another song. Ed, you got a tune to play for us?
I was going gonna play one that I tried to write for Paul, and I'll just kind of go through a little bit of it, see if I usually do it on a nylon string, so but I'll try it on this one.
I told Mike I couldn't play this week because my thumb was sore, and then he told me what his problem was, and I felt a lot better about my thumb. So don't ask Micah what his problem is this week. That's my advice to you. Guys, we got a minute and a half. Eddie, you got something you want to say? Or? No. I told you I got a sore thumb. Yeah. No. I'm good. Play one for us.
I can't think of anything to play right now. I saw Marie come in. Marie, you want to say anything?
No, you can take care of it.
You want me to tell that story about when you was dating?
No, you don't need to tell that one.
I'll take a minute to tell part of that. But as I say, when I first was around Paul, I was afraid to approach him. I really was, because I respected him so much. I think like everybody did. And he was, as I say, he was reserved. He wasn't shy. He was reserved. And the first time, I had come down here and all, and I just, I wasn't booking. And they had a little thing. Paul had been playing a little place at Daysville, Kentucky, between Russellville and Elton, Kentucky, called Libby's. And Paul had been playing some in the house band there on the weekends that he wasn't working with Chet and all. And so Odell Martin had helped start that, and they had a tribute to thumb pickers. Of course, Paul and Bob Saxon, they had a big part in getting that together. And of course, naturally, I was over there that night. Was that before I met you, or was you there for that? But anyhow, when it come my turn to go up on the stage and play, I started, and there was this pretty lady sitting at the table, and she spoke to me and said, "Hi, Eddie," and there's a couple more ladies with her, and I spoke to them, and she introduced, "So I'm Marie, I'm Paul's wife." Well, I didn't even know he had a wife. I couldn't imagine him, courting anybody, because he would, how, he could be pretty direct at times. But anyhow, when I started up on the stage and looked at my guitar, Paul started talking about me. And he was telling things that I'd done, and about being down at CAAS, and I'd won a couple contests and stuff and all. And I didn't even know he knew who I was. But he was very observant of people and all. But I asked Marie, I said, "How did y'all meet?" And she said, "Well," her sister was married to little Jimmy Dickens. And Marie, I think you said you was their babysitter, wasn't you?
For Iron Bay.
Oh, you was, Lumen's
Right.
babysitter, but anyhow, they were all, you know, country music people sort of connected and all. And, so that you went out on a date with Paul. And she said, you know, he wasn't shy at all like you think he is. Said, in fact, I didn't even like him. And didn't want to see him anymore. And of course, Paul was going off in the army about that time. And she said he wrote her a letter and said, I guess it's your sister, and said, oh, you ought to write that boy's going off, going overseas and everything. And she started writing him, and that's how she found out, you know, after you got to know Paul Yandell, there's never a more tender-hearted and loving person in the world. And, you know, all of us, our lives are all richer. This whole convention is richer. People sound more like the Chet that so many of us grew up on here because Paul worked so hard getting, you know, these great guitars and everything where it would sound like what, you know, would get that Chet sound. And that, you know, it all changed when that Nashville Classic come out, but when that CGP come out, I seen guys that I never had thought sounded as much like Chet. But when they played that, they really had a Chet sound, and you know, and that was Paul. Paul is a, you know, he was a monument to Chet, and there's never anybody going to equal him. You know, he's just, you know, only thing I dread now is when I die, he'll be saying, "Why did you get up there and tell all that stuff for?" But I mean every bit of it, and thank you for letting me be part of this. I love him and miss him every day.
Yeah, thanks everybody for attending. It's our time. Thanks everybody.